Win your VIP experience to the show at Agua Caliente Resort Casino Spa Rancho Mirage. Enjoy an evening with Tyler Henry, the Hollywood Medium, on Saturday, October 12th at 8 p.m. Go to NBCPalmSprings.com and click on PS Interactive to enter. Then watch NBC Palm Springs today at 11 a.m. to see if you're our lucky winner. Check out the lineup of other great acts coming to the show. Enjoy the show.
This is NBC Palm Springs.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Sarah Sanchez.
And I'm Gino Lamont. We do begin with breaking news out of Philadelphia. 6 police officers have been shot. 1 officer shot in the head. This, according to reports coming into the newsroom as we speak. But all of the officers are expected to survive.
It all began with a narcotics officer serving a warrant. This incident is now heading in to the 3rd hour. Last update, this is still an active shooter situation. 2 officers remain trapped inside the home, possibly on a different floor from where the shooter is barricaded. Possibly that shooter could be shooting through the floor of that home. That information is from the Philadelphia Police Commissioner. This is a residential neighborhood in North Philadelphia. Just a half hour ago, a local daycare was evacuated with 80 kids leaving the building, many holding hands with law enforcement officers.
All right, let's take a live look now at the scene on the ground in Philadelphia. Again, 6 police officers have been shot. The officers are expected to survive. It's all began with a narcotics officer serving a warrant.
Yeah, and as I mentioned too, this is still an active shooter situation. Another learning center nearby, similar to that other daycare, is still under lockdown. And Temple University, just blocks away, was under lockdown earlier, one of their sciences building, but that has since been lifted. But we are still learning information. Not a lot of details are really clear because this is an active shooter situation.
All right. Palm Springs police have their eyes on Philadelphia tonight, tweeting, quote, "We've got you in our thoughts, Philadelphia police," end quote.
Police show up to a corner in Desert Hot Springs to find a man with gunshot wounds. He was rushed to the hospital, but our Daytona Everett spoke with neighbors who say it wasn't fast enough considering the circumstances. And she's live now where the shooting happened earlier this morning. Daytona, what do you know?
Yeah, Sarah, hey, I'm at the corner of Cactus and Acoma, the exact location where a man was shot earlier today. The investigation seems to be pretty much cleared up as of right now, but there's still one question that lingers. Why does it feel like the ambulance took so long to arrive when a man was bleeding out? A bike, a shoe, a piece of clothing, a cell phone, and a belt, which witnesses say doubled as a tourniquet. All the remains of a crime scene under investigation.
And we ran out here, and then there's a body over there, and then the cops were taking it.
Desert Hot Springs police responded to a shots fired call on the corner of Cactus Drive and Acoma Avenue. They arrived to a man on the ground with gunshot wounds. This neighbor, who wishes to remain anonymous for safety reasons, says she rushed to the man when she heard the shots ring out.
I actually went to go check to see if it was my uncle, but it wasn't, thankfully.
She said she went to aid the man until the police intervened.
Like 2 minutes later, the cops come, and they're not even calling the ambulance. So I'm sitting here telling them, what are you guys doing? Like, call the ambulance. And they're yelling at me to get out of the way.
Fool, it literally took 20 minutes.
And neighbors pointed out that ambulance right there behind the brown building, just walking distance from where the shooting actually happened. Another reason that they're saying the response time was delayed and insufficient. But Desert Hot Springs Police Chief Henson says the officers did their job. Ambulance response times are not a part of their duty.
At approximately 9:02 this morning, we got a call of shots fired. Our officers arrived on scene about 2 minutes later.
But the neighbor says somebody needs to up their game, considering the neighborhood has a history of crime.
It bothers me that they just didn't do their job how they were supposed to do. Because when I was little, my grandfather was an ambulance. Somebody got shot, they're going to be there. There's not no waiting 20 minutes for somebody just to come. Okay, he's a young male. He's bleeding out, you guys. It's common sense. Call backup.
Now, just about an hour, a representative with AMR told me that their response time was just under 10 minutes. Now, 10 minutes is the maximum response time that they have for ambulances. But as for that ambulance that was over there, he said it was likely that it was just a vacant ambulance that didn't have a crew assigned to it, so that's why that one did not respond to the crime scene. As for the suspect, we don't know much about them. We'll continue to update you, but it doesn't seem like the people in this area, the neighbors in this area, are in too much danger. Of course, we'll continue to update you with any details that we receive. Live in Desert Hot Springs, I'm Daytona Everett. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Daytona. A man suspected of threatening people with a knife and trying to fight police officers, prompting an officer-involved shooting, pleaded not guilty to 5 felony charges. Kevin Weintraub was in court after not being medically cleared yesterday. Weintraub remains jailed. He is set to return to court later this month. Riverside County Sheriff's Department is investigating the shooting.
Well, a brutal day on Wall Street today. The Dow fell more than 800 points after the 10-year Treasury bond yield fell below 1.6% earlier this morning, dropping just below the yield of the 2-year Treasury bond. It marked the first time since 2007 that the 10-year bond yields fell below the 2-year yields. This so-called inverted yield curve, again, happened back in 2007, and it preceded every recession of the last 50 years.
Several red flags in the global economy have investors worried a recession is looming. Our Kitty Alvarado spoke with a financial advisor and joins us now in studio with what you need to know to protect your investments. Kitty.
Well, if you're not sure how your money is invested, right now is the time to get more involved and empower yourself by having a plan, especially if you're close to retiring. The U.S. trade war with China, Hong Kong in turmoil, Germany's economy weakening, and the U.S. housing market softening. As if those events weren't enough to worry economists, long-term Treasury bond yields briefly fell below short-term for the first time since the Great Recession. That sent the stock market plunging on Wednesday. Ryan Wilson, Senior Vice President and Financial Advisor at RBC Wealth Management in Palm Desert, says that inversion has signaled a recession in the past, but it's not the end-all be-all.
It's something to pay attention to. But you also want to see where housing starts are, where unemployment is. Are we getting into a deflationary environment or super inflationary environment? So you got to take multiple things into account and then say, okay, what does that mean to me?
He says knowing what you're invested in and having a plan is key to protecting your assets during volatile markets.
The clients who did really well through the last recession, or any recession for that matter, they knew what they owned, they were comfortable owning them, so they didn't make a rash emotional decision and sell out and then miss the next upswing.
But if you're retiring soon or are relying on your nest egg now, the rules are different.
We're at the stage where our advice to clients is we'd rather miss out a little bit on the upside and make sure we don't have a big wealth destroying event.
He says the U.S. market always pays off long-term, but
as we sit today, there's some signs that say, hey, you should be cautionary. And if it's money that isn't meant to be invested, it shouldn't be. Just know what you own and make sure it's high quality.
And he also says now is a good time to meet with a reputable financial advisor who can show you how much you're risking and if it's right for you. And also be very leery of anyone who's preying on your fears and promising returns that are too good to be true. I'm Kitty Alvarado.
All right, thank you, Kitty. Well, a new American Hockey League team coming to Palm Springs could have a nickname. The trademark was filed yesterday for the Palm Springs Firebirds. It was filed on behalf of Oakview Group, the company in charge. Oakview Group had previously announced that they'd be building a new arena along with the Agua Caliente tribe right in the heart of downtown Palm Springs to house the new team. So what do locals around town think about the new name? We asked.
The Palm Springs Firebirds, I think it's a good name. I mean, it's hot out here, it's a desert, so I feel like it's going to give it a good feel to the good hockey teams.
That sounds okay, but it doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound like the desert to me. I think I'd choose something else that had related to the desert.
I don't know about for hockey. Usually keep it ice related, but you know, I think it definitely fits the theme out here about the scorching hot weather, so I'm definitely for it if we're going to go with that.
And it's worth noting, during the NHL's previous expansion process, the Las Vegas organization registered trademarks on several different team names. So this filing may be only the first of many, and it doesn't necessarily mean that will be the name of our new hockey team.
All right, yeah, it certainly doesn't seem like too much of a stretch because it is still warm out there. Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett is standing by with a look at your forecast. Mike, what say you about the Firebirds?
You know what, you can call them the Palm Springs adorable fuzzy kittens. I don't care. We've got hockey coming to Palm Springs. It's going to be great. Could you imagine how surreal it would be to be in a hockey arena on a day like today with temperatures in the 1-teens and excessive heat warnings in place? We've got that ridge of high pressure. Look, again, we were marveling at this yesterday. We're marveling at it again today. There's absolutely nothing in the atmosphere. High pressure really just taking over the entire southwest, but changes are coming as we go into the weekend that will take that high pressure that's currently over top of Texas and move it over top of the Four Corners region. And as it does that, that's going to pull temperatures back just in time for the weekend, just like it did last weekend. That is not the case right now. It's hot out there. I've got all sorts of colors, all of them having to do with heat. Excessive heat warnings went into place yesterday, and they will stay there until tomorrow evening at 9 o'clock. Basically, for everything you see in pink, I'll turn off the warning there and let you know how expansive this is. We've also got those heat advisories in place for all of the inland areas, literally from Los Angeles County all the way down through San Diego. Temperatures getting up to about 105 there. We could be pushing on 120 in some of our more heat-prone spots as we go into Thursday, and we're doing it right now as well. 117 is what we've got at the airport. Wind coming in lightly from the north, about 12 miles an hour. That will pick up this evening. Could get some gusts up to about 25, 30 miles an hour, and that'll give us some drainage and a little bit of cooling as we go through the evening. And as we like to say, it's a dry heat, 5% humidity out there, hot and dry. We're going to be tracking another hot one on Thursday. Your Comfort Air 3-day forecast showing a decline going into the weekend. In fact, we're going to get it back down to normal by Saturday, and those overnights back into the mid-70s. Details and your full forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Mike. It's a new school year for one community still reeling from a mass shooting. Thousands of students in the Gilroy Unified School District were back at school today. 3 people were killed at the annual Gilroy Garlic Festival on July 28th. At least a dozen others were injured in that shooting. Students will have access to counseling services, and extra police will be on hand as a safety precaution. CHP officer Andre Moye is honored by his colleagues during a bell-tolling ceremony in Sacramento. CHP had planned to hold a celebration marking the 90th anniversary of the agency, but it was canceled to honor the fallen officer instead. A procession of police cruisers made their way down the highway in Riverside to honor the fallen officer. Officer Moye was fatally shot during a dramatic gun battle off the 215 freeway in Riverside on Monday. And continuing our coverage, a deal is reached between prosecutors and the Coachella woman caught dumping 7 puppies in a dumpster. Our Max Rodriguez was in court for the conclusion and brings us the latest. Max.
Sarah, Deborah Caldwell pleaded guilty today in the courtroom and accepted a plea deal. Part of the plea includes her returning to county jail tonight, as well as barring her from owning pets for some time. A conclusion to the story that touched the hearts of animal lovers in the Coachella Valley. Surveillance footage caught Coachella resident Deborah Caldwell dumping 7 puppies. A local woman found them inside the dumpster.
She literally was just born 2 weeks ago, and for a puppy to endure that much pain.
Caldwell pleaded guilty on Wednesday and accepted a plea deal that sends her back to county jail for a year and places her on probation for 7 years. Part of it includes not owning or possessing animals during probation.
So I feel good today because, like Janine said, sometimes people don't get any time.
Janine and Katie are animal advocates who have been following the case since the start.
She loves us and she wants to come up, but she's probably been abused too much.
They currently care after 5 of the 38 dogs found inside Caldwell's home during the investigation. The courtroom portion of this case is now complete, but there's still work in adjusting these animals into a loving home.
It's just nice to know that there's a little bit of justice for them, and I don't know that they'll feel any better tonight, but maybe they'll feel a little bit of it from us when we go home and give them a big hug and say, you know, you got your justice today.
If the deal was not reached today and went to trial, Caldwell could have faced 7 years in jail. Instead, she will do a year in custody or less, as the judge said. Overcrowding in the jail could reduce her time. I'm Max Rodriguez.
All right, Max, thank you. Still to come, a scabies scare here in the desert.
One man claims he got infested while at a local health care facility. We investigate when we come back.
Ahead for us, why a drug that works for many migraine sufferers is now out of reach to many patients. Also, back to school and back to reality, how dogs are becoming the next weapon against school shooters. We'll show you a demonstration on NBC Nightly News.
Welcome to the Bell Hotel, Taco Bell's new immersive experience for fans right here in Palm Springs.
Look around and it is a gorgeous oasis.
You can't go wrong.
When it comes to the big stories in your community, NBC Palm Springs is there.
The Summer of Jeep is going on now. Come in today and save. Let us show you how easy it is to buy a car from I-10 Dodge. Lease the new 2019 Jeep Wrangler Sport S 4x4 at the I-10 Easy Deal lease price of $199 per month plus tax. Or get into your new 2019 Ram 1500 Classic Tradesman Quad Cab 4x4 at 25% savings from MSRP. Come in today and shop the I-10 way. Located in the heart of the valley in the I-10 Auto Mall in Indio or 24/7 at i10dodge.com.
In tonight's You Ask, We Investigate report, a suspicious skin rash is reported at the Brookdale Senior Living Facility in Rancho Mirage. Our Luz Delia Caballero went out to see if these are valid claims and joins us in studio with more on that. Luz Delia.
Gino, Dwayne Beach Barrow sings praises of the Brookdale Rancho Mirage facility, given his husband has been recovering there for over a week now. But recently, his partner told him he'd been diagnosed with scabies. Now Dwayne wants to know why the facility never called him about it.
Hello?
Dwayne Beach Barrow has been calling the Brookdale Rancho Mirage Senior Facility nonstop after hearing there'd been a scabies outbreak inside the skilled nursing facility where his husband is recovering.
I've called his doctor. I've called you folks. I've tried to get a hold of the people down there. Nothing.
Leaving him fishing for answers.
Normally, everything is very calm, relaxed, and even flowing. Not yesterday. It was nuts. They were moving people around left, right, and backwards. They moved my husband from one end of the building to the other end of the building.
And when he left the facility for the night, hours later, he got the call he feared most.
This morning, Robert called me, and he said I'd been exposed to scabies. I was gobsmacked. I did not know what to say for about 5 seconds, and I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "That's what the nurse said."
NBC Palm Springs reached out to Brookdale Rancho Mirage, and it provided a statement that reads in part, quote, "We are ceasing admissions, separating anyone that may be impacted, and completing a community-wide skin assessment. We sent letters out to the residents' point of contact, informed discharged residents, and notified their physicians. They are also conducting additional cleaning of the facility as a precaution." Officials from Brookdale Senior Living say the, quote, "suspicious skin rash is contained to just one area of the community and that they will be treating anyone with any suspicious rash just to be safe." I'm Luz Delia Caballero.
All right, thank you, Luz Delia. And remember, if you have a story you would like us to look into, you can always email us, youask@NBCPalmSprings.com. And when we get back, check out the forecast with Mike.
Yeah, let's check it with Mike. Hey, Mike.
One of the signature signs of high pressure is not a cloud in the sky, even as we have this gorgeous live look, courtesy of our brand new Agua Caliente casino cam. This is the one in Rancho Mirage. Look at that, looking straight towards the west. Whole lot of nothing going on, but we are tracking some changes going into the weekend. I'll tell you what they look like when we come back.
Nominate your favorite teacher to win a gift card, courtesy of NBC Palm Springs. Go to our Facebook page and comment on your teacher's name, the school where they teach, and why you think they're the best in the valley. One entry per person.
Paul McKenna here at the giant Crystal Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Truck headquarters in the Cathedral City Auto Center. Or you want to find out what everybody's talking about? Come experience it for yourself. How about this crystal clear deal?
During our summer clearance event, lease a new Dodge Challenger SXT for only $69 a month. Or drive home in a new 2019 Ram 1500 Tradesman regular cab 4x2 for just $22,987 net cost.
Only at the giant Crystal Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Truck headquarters, where every deal is crystal clear.
Welcome back. Well, heat continues to be the top story in the weather department tonight. We were hot today. It looks like we're going to peak tomorrow. In fact, we're going to take a little bit more heat into Thursday. I'll tell you what that looks like in a moment. The big news, though, and this is really all you need to know, is that temperatures will drop this weekend, both during the day and the overnights as well, because we are dry out there. Make sure you take full advantage of it, because once again, heat is our story as we go into next week. The timing couldn't be any better. So what we're looking at right here on Futurecast is almost exactly the same as what we were looking at yesterday. High pressure in control all the way across the west. There's nothing. Oregon, Idaho, Utah, Arizona even managing to keep themselves out of that monsoonal flow. All of that has been over top of New Mexico and Texas, but the shift this weekend will take that high pressure back up over the Four Corners region, and once that does that, it's going to interact with a low pressure system dropping in from the Pacific Northwest, and that's going to bring temperatures down and keep our humidity low. Speaking of humidity, look at water vapor imagery. This is fascinating. Everything that you see in the white and the green here, that is mid and high level cloud cover, and of course where the moisture and the humidity and the storm potential is, we are bone dry. It's 5% humidity out there right now. Dew points are in the low 30s, and that looks like something we're going to get to keep over the next couple of days, even after that low pressure system drops in. Excessive heat warnings, well, yeah, they're in place right now. They will stay there until tomorrow night at 9 p.m. So if you are sensitive to the heat, that's the number that you really need to keep an eye on. And everything you see in the pink off towards the east here, that's also hot. Everything you see there in the fuchsia, that's the heat advisory that's in place inland. Temperatures getting between 101 and 105 today and again tomorrow. It's 115 here in Palm Springs. Let's see if we're the winners. Yes, we are. 111 in Phoenix, 114 in Yuma, 106 in Vegas, and along the coast, the marine layer is just thick. But despite that, they're managing to get into the mid-70s in San Diego and lower 80s in LA. 102 is your number in the Yucca Valley right now. 107 and 29 Palms. Is hot down in Coachella. 117 currently. Check back with us at 6, and we'll see what we top out there down towards Thermal and Mecca. 102 in Cabazon, and some 70s up towards Big Bear. Wind is really disorganized right now, and it's hard to call it wind when it's 9 or 10 miles an hour. That will switch around to the northwest tonight and get up to about 15 to 20 miles an hour. Dew points in the 20s tomorrow. It'll be even drier than it was today. It will be even hotter than it was today. 118s down towards Indio and Palm Desert, 117s in Palm Springs, 106 in Joshua Tree, and here comes that glorious weekend. 108 on Saturday, 109 on Sunday, and overnight lows in the 70s.
Sunday Night Football is back on NBC Palm Springs. And stay tuned for the fastest growing newscast right after the game.
Wait, did he just say Sunday night?
Boss, are we working Sunday nights?
Sunday nights on NBC Palm Springs.
Our focus is to serve the Coachella Valley. That's why Electric Ratepayers Alliance has joined NBC Palm Springs, SunPower, and Renova Energy to give away the first annual La Luz Award with a free solar system as the prize. Nominate someone by or before August 26th by submitting a video sharing the way they make this a better world. Complete rules and details are available at erainc.org. Let's celebrate those who light up our world.
Your Health Today, brought to you by Clark's Nutrition and Natural Foods Market.
Well, how many prescriptions do you take, Sarah? If it's a lot, you're not alone. The new CDC study shows most adults between 40 and 79, oh, you don't qualify, 40 and 79 took at least one prescription drug in the past month, and 1 in 5 took at least 5 prescription drugs. So why is everyone taking so much drugs?
I don't think you can ask that question. I think there's an HR violation.
No, it was more generic to the audience.
Okay, there we go. Well, for the younger half of the group, it's mostly antidepressants and blood pressure and migraine medication. For the older set, cholesterol-lowering drugs, anti-diabetic medications, and blood pressure medication as well.
I take all of them. We'll be right back.
Win your VIP experience to the show at Agua Caliente Resort Casino Spa Rancho Mirage. Enjoy an evening with Tyler Henry, the Hollywood Medium, on Saturday, October 12th at 8 p.m. Go to NBCPalmSprings.com and click on PS Interactive to enter. Then watch NBC Palm Springs today at 11 a.m. to see if you're our lucky winner. Check out the lineup of other great acts coming to the show. Enjoy the show.
Sunday Night Football is back on NBC Palm Springs. And stay tuned for the fastest growing newscast right after the game.
Wait, did he just say Sunday night?
Boss, are we working Sunday nights?
Sunday nights on NBC Palm Springs.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Nightly News is up next with Lester Holt. We'll be back here at 6 o'clock with all your local news, sports, and weather.
I'll see you then.